I'm joined by Andy Tomlinson, a reincarnation pioneer, psychologist, psychotherapist, and author of 3 books about the soul. And we'll be discussing the source of ill health and how regression therapy can help. Andy, what is the spiritual perspective of ill health?
Well, a lot of people see ill health as something that's bad, or that they've just perhaps been unlucky. But from a spiritual perspective, it's often something that's resulted from a soul that's just really taken on too much, and there's been an energy blockage. Now, the fact that we're all energy is something that we know about from the work of Einstein. It's almost like ice that can be of a form of a solid or water vapour about it, and human bodies are exactly the same. There's the solid parts that we can see and touch, and there's also an energy field that we have around us, and it's in that energy field around us where the blockage can occur. And the important thing with ill health is that in order to release this energy blockage, it's a little bit like water that if it's free-flowing, like a mountain stream, it's clear and it's quite inviting. But if it becomes blocked for any reason and becomes like a stagnant pool, then it's not particularly healthy. So the whole art of therapy is to actually release this blocked energy, and this is where regression therapy can help.
How does therapy and the regression therapy that you use help?
Well, first of all, we must remember that our body simply reflects back to us about some aspect of our life that's not working. It can be a thought or an emotion, it can be an unexplainable pain, or if it's something that's not really attended to, it can be more serious illness in any part of the body. And our body has got a message to us. Now, the spiritual perspective of this is probably summarized by Buddha, and he said, look, there's actually 4 stages of ill health and then how to resolve it. And the first stage is to know you've got a problem. And this is essentially what our being in a physical body will do for us. It will bring to our attention some aspect of life that's not working outright. The second stage is to understand what caused it. And this is often where regression work can be very helpful. The third stage is to know what have we got to do differently. And this is where connecting to our feeling heart can be very useful in the regression process. And then the last and most important stage is how do we go about living our life in a different way? And of course, this is the integration really of any sort of therapy back into the here and now of our present life. So this is really how regression therapy fits in from a spiritual perspective, that it's actually helping soul growth as well as actually releasing these symptoms for the simple reason that when the energy is flowing again and when the reason for the problem is known and transformed, it served its purpose, that soul growth has taken place and the most remarkable removal of symptoms take place.
You also work with body memories. What does that mean?
Well, it's important to remember that our thoughts, our emotions and our body are all interconnected. For example, if someone has a thought that something isn't fair, perhaps there's some sort of injustice happens to them, they can have the emotion of anger. And by actually experiencing the anger, quite often the thought will be recreated again, which will amplify the anger. It's almost like the anger becomes supercharged and almost takes over the whole of the person. And this is how people have anger outbursts. But if anger is not resolved, it can be stored in parts of the physical body. It can be stored in the head as a migraine, or it can be stored in the shoulders in the form of tension. And this is where the trauma or the blockage takes place. And by working with body memories, it's possible to clear this energy blockage very, very quickly. And also it's worth remembering that when body memories are created, they're stored in a different part of the brain than where the emotions and where the thoughts are held. So just simply having a talking therapy really won't get to the core part of the energy blockage. It's really going into the body memories that are very powerful. I'm going to show you a video clip which will demonstrate this. Okay, I'd like you to just focus on the neck and that pain you were telling me about. Just put all your conscious attention there. That's it, just go really deeply inside that pain. That's it, and just adjust your body posture to go with it. That's it, just let your arms and legs move. Just go right into that posture. Body, show me what's happening. That's it, just go right into it. Go right through it. Go right through it, body. Go right through it, body. Right through it. Right through it. Right through it, body. Right through it. Go right to the end. Go right to the end, body. Right to the end. So just go all the way through it. All the way through to the end. You're going to let that line energy break your hands free. Okay, 1, get into the posture, body. 2, it's going to happen any moment now. Feeling it starting to happen. That's it, noting it happening now. And 3, break free, break free. That's it, break free, that's it, break free. That's it, just feel your hands free. Just feel your hands free now. See how they're free. Okay, what might be quite useful, because this was obviously a very dramatic film clip you've just seen. Let's see what the person who was experiencing this had to say afterwards.
Just, it's incredible, the sense of relief, and that release when my hands were actually able to break free. It's just so powerful. And just that physical sense. And it makes the feelings, all of the emotions that go with it, so much more powerful as well.
So what would you say to anyone else who was watching this and had never experienced body therapy before?
Well, I guess it may look quite dramatic at the time, but I know that sometimes there is a tendency to think that maybe it's just your imagination. When you're experiencing a past life, it feels to a degree that you might be making it up. But that physical sensation is so... I just don't think it's something that you could make up in your imagination. And the sense of relief afterwards is just incredible. I mean, my hands being tied, I'd felt so helpless, but the whole thing where I had the pain in my neck, that's gone now.
That's fascinating. What happens in the session?
Well, in this case, it was a past life, and the helplessness that was experienced was trapped in the body with the hands held together, and those are dramatic events that occurred. And by actually allowing the physical body to experience something different, in this case it was to be untied, then we could see how there was a tremendous release of energy. And not only was the release of energy, but the memory was transformed in a very helpful way. And certainly from the comments that were made afterwards, we can see just how deeply profound it was. And this is just an example of how body therapy can be used not only in past lives, but it can equally be used in current life work too.
What do the medical world think about past lives and regression?
Well, the medical profession is very traditional when it comes to any form of therapy or psychotherapy, because a lot of the training doesn't actually include that type of treatment. But you know, there is a growing realization of just how incredibly powerful this work is. And an example is a medical doctor working in a hospital in Singapore, one of the leading neurosurgeons there, who uses regression therapy for half a day a week. And he's been getting such amazing results with that that the other patients are referred to him on a routine basis when traditional medicine just isn't able to help. And he's written about one of those case studies in the book of his called Healing Deep Hurt Within, which tells a story of one of his patients who went through a very serious trauma where she was actually falling over and losing consciousness for quite long periods of time, was unable to work, tried to commit suicide, and within 2 weeks and 3 to 4 sessions, he was able to bring about complete transformation where her life turned around and she was able to get on with her life in a meaningful way.
We've heard Andy Tomlinson explain about the spiritual perspective of ill health and how medical professionals are using regression therapy to help. More information is available in Dr. Peter Mack's book, Healing Deep Hurt Within, or visit these websites.